When it comes to comparing means, probably the most basic type of comparison that we do is when we compare a mean to a fixed standard. So let's suppose that we knew that the national average for a score was 57%. We could compare the score we received, say 63%, and see whether it was significantly different from the national average of 57, a fixed standard. In this case, we're going to do what's called a one sample t-test. So we go to compare means, and then we go one sample t-test. Click on that. And then we're going to migrate the variables that we want to compare over. So for this one, why don't we look at current attitudes? And we'll select those 7. We'll move them over to the test variable there. And then for the test value, it's a 5-point scale. We could compare it to the low point of 1 to see whether the mean differed from the low point of 1. We could use a 5 to see if it differed from the high point on the scale of 5. Another possibility would be to compare it to 3, which is the neutral point on the scale. So we're going to look at these test variables and compare them to the test value of 3. So fundamentally, we're going to be asking, did the means for these variables differ from the neutral point on the scale? And we're able to specify that precisely. So we can make that 3.5 or whatever we want, but we're going to use 3 because that's the neutral point on the scale. And we'll hit OK. And we get the following. We get the one sample statistics here. So you can see the different variables. I believe I'm currently in good physical condition. I believe I would benefit from a greater amount of exercise. All of these issues. You can see the means all the way down here. So these are just some descriptive statistics, the standard deviation and the standard error of the mean. So these are the values. So when you see these, I guess the question is, does 3.52 differ significantly from a neutral value of 3? 4.21, does it differ, etc.? So in order to solve that, we look at this particular figure here, the one sample t-test. You can see that the test value is equal to 3 because that's what we specified. And we'll look at the t value here, the degrees of freedom, and the most telling thing is the significance level. And we're looking for something lower than 0.05 if it's going to be significant. And you can see that all of these are very, very low, definitely much lower than 0.05. These are the 3 fundamental things that we'll wind up reporting though: t, degrees of freedom, and the significance level. And you can see for all of these, the significance level is lower than 0, which means that the means differ significantly from the neutral value on the scale 3 as specified here.